Ministry of Home Affairs allows opening of all shops except those in shopping malls in rural areas. Standalone shops, neighborhood shops and shops in residential complexes of urban areas also allowed to open. Those shops of urban areas which are in markets or market complexes or shopping malls will remain closed. Those relaxations will not be applicable for hotspots and containment zones. No new COVID-19 case reported from 80 districts in the last 14 days. NCDC says that COVID growth rate is reduced due to timely lockdown. 9.45 lakh people put on disease surveillance system. Active coronavirus cases in India rises to 18,668, 775 fatalities, 5,062 recoveries. The worldwide battle against COVID-19 remains ongoing. Over 28 lakh people infected so far, over 1.97 lakh deaths. The death toll in the US has climbed to 51,000. And in other news, in Jammu and Kashmir, 2 terrorists and 1 hardcore associate of the terrorists killed in an encounter in Avantipura and Pulwama district. Search operation continues. And Sanjeev Kothari takes oath as the new Central Vigilance Commissioner of the country. President Ramnath Kovind administered the oath of office at a ceremony at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The holy month of Ramadan begins amid the coronavirus pandemic. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet the people on the occasion. The Prime Minister says, may this holy month bring with it abundance of kindness, harmony and compassion. May we achieve a decisive victory in the ongoing battle against COVID-19 and create a healthier planet. Namaskar and welcome to the news. I'm Mark Lynn. Let's begin with our top story. The Ministry of Home Affairs has eased some of the lockdown restrictions further, and in a revised set of guidelines issued by the ministry on the virus-induced country lockdown, it has allowed the opening of all shops in residential complexes and market complexes except shops in multi-brand and single-brand malls outside the limit of municipal corporations and municipalities with 50% strength of workers with wearing of masks. However, the ease down will not be applicable to the containment regions of the country. Meanwhile, the Home Ministry has clarified that in rural areas, all shops except those in shopping malls are allowed to open. In urban areas, all standalone neighborhood shops and shops in residential complexes are allowed to open. Shops in markets and market complexes and shopping malls are not allowed to open. Sale by e-commerce companies will continue to be permitted for essential goods only. Sale of liquor and other items continues to be prohibited as specified in the national directives for COVID-19 management. In the wake of the lockdown, the ease by the Home Ministry, bookshops too have reopened gradually, and the decision to relax the lockdown restrictions has come in the backdrop of improved doubling rate in the country. The different parts of the country experience the relaxation with strict compliance of physical distancing, while bookshops, sweet shops, they have also reopened. And here's the update now on COVID-19 in the country. As the latest information from the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, the country has recorded a total of 24,506 positive cases, including 18,668 active cases. Currently, 5,062 people have fully recovered and have been discharged, and the total death toll in the country has reached 775. Maharashtra continues to remain the worst hit state with the total number of infected cases there being the highest, followed by Gujarat. Delhi occupies the third position with more than 2,500 positive cases. 7 states, including Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, have crossed the 1,000 mark. Meanwhile, the number of districts where no case has been reported in the last 14 days has reached 80. In 36 districts, there have been no case for the last 28 days. So the recovery rate has been seen to go up. It's showing an upward trend. 20.7 75% in the new rate of recovery of corona patients, and the doubling rate has also improved with awareness and social distancing in practice. Now, the total cases of corona infections are doubling in 8.6 days, while the earlier figure was 7 days. The Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare said on Friday that its robust surveillance system is closely monitoring around 9.45 lakh suspected COVID-19 cases across the country. Let's tell you now about plasma therapy, which is being taken forward in the country to help coronavirus infected persons recover from the infection. Plasma is extracted from the blood of a coronavirus recovered person, and it's administered to another infected person. And in this way, the transfer of antibodies takes place, and the fight against the virus takes place within the blood from the blood of the recovered patient to the one who is still infected. It's giving a lot of hope to the country and those who are suffering, especially the severe cases.
Indian Council of Medical Research recently allowed states to start clinical trials of plasma therapy. The idea behind this therapy is that immunity can be transferred from a healthy person to a sick patient using convalescent plasma. Convalescent plasma therapy is still in experimental stage. In the plasma therapy, antibodies from the blood of a patient who has recovered from COVID-19 are used to treat serious patients. People who have fully recovered from coronavirus can save lives of people by donating their plasma. In the plasma therapy, donor plays an important role. Plasma is extracted from their blood, as our doctors often do it in case of dengue patients. Ahmedabad Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Hospital is one of the first in the country to start plasma therapy on COVID-19 patients.
फ्लूइड पार्ट जो होता है उसको प्लाज्मा बोलते हैं। उसके अंदर एंटीबॉडीज डेवलप होते हैं। वो एंटीबॉडीज अगर हम पेशेंट को देते हैं तो वो उसका बचाने का काम कर सकता है। तो वो थेरेपी है जो प्लाज्मा की, जो पेशेंट को बचाने वाला है, उसको प्लाज्मा थेरेपी बोलते हैं। प्लाज्मा में हम सिर्फ प्लाज्मा लेते हैं, बाकी का ब्लड पेशेंट डोनर को वापस चढ़ा देते हैं।
So far, plasma therapy has shown positive results, and if proven right, it may be a huge success in fight against coronavirus. The center has given a go-ahead to few states for plasma therapy on limited number of COVID-19 patients. Kerala, Gujarat, Punjab have also started using plasma therapy to cure COVID-19 patients.
ये एक बहुत ही रीसेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है प्लाज्मा थेरेपी, और ये कोविड के जो सीरियस पेशेंट्स हैं कैटेगरी 3 वाले, जो आईसीयू में हैं, जो वेंटिलेटर्स पर हैं, जिनकी जान को खतरा है, ये केवल उन मरीजों के ऊपर इसको दिया जा रहा है।
Delhi government has also decided to conduct plasma therapy on 3 more patients at Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan Hospital in the next few days. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said that plasma therapy trial conducted on 4 COVID-19 patients here has yielded very encouraging initial results, giving a ray of hope to seriously ill coronavirus patients. With Bureau Inputs, Devashi Varatoria, DD India.
Well, India has developed indigenous production of low-cost testing kit with 100% specificity and sensitivity. The real-time PCR-based probe-free kit is validated by ICMR, the apex medical research body of the country. The detective assay has been developed by IIT Delhi research team, and it comprises of postdoctorates and professors. The 10-member research team successfully identified the unique regions in the genetic material of the virus which were not present in the earlier variants. Further, the diagnostic assay uses the fluorescent dyes instead of fluorescent probe, which helps to scale down the price of the kit. At this time, the difficult time that we are in, Corona warriors are getting active and unprecedented support from some individuals who are not only contributing to the ongoing fight against COVID-19, but also setting an example for others. In one such inspiring example, hostel girls in Jammu are making masks for the frontline workers, and the girls of all ages are working tirelessly to make these masks in large quantities so that they can be distributed to those who are working to keep us all safe. Chandigarh Police has taken a unique initiative. A health team has been formed by the Chandigarh Police to take care of people and the health of police personnel as well at their posts, and has also been allowed to conduct a preliminary check on their health. This health team of paramedics, along with sub-inspector, is checking up about 100 to 150 policemen posted at various posts. This health team is connected to the doctors of the police hospital through tabs for consultation if needed. Doctors of the health team may prescribe medicines to the police personnel or advise them to take rest. Also, police personnel can call the hospital for any further investigation. It is indeed a great initiative to boost the morale of the police personnel who are doing long hours of duties to fight COVID-19. In a bid to combat the spread of the coronavirus and to flatten the curve, COVID-19 hospitals with 200 beds, including 6 ICUs, this one has been set up at Kalahandi district of Odisha. Let's take a look at this COVID-19 hospital. In Maharashtra's Aurangabad factories in the Waluj industrial estate, they have gradually started their operations after receiving the requisite permissions from the MIDC. The number of other industries, including Bajaj Group, have started their operations after a month of lockdown. The factory is working with workers living nearby in the Waluj industry area. No workers allowed to travel from cities as there are hotspots of COVID-19 in the cities. The required permissions were granted on Thursday night and the work began on Friday in 2 shifts. Social distancing will be observed while working as well as in the canteen. The 2 shifts are spaced 1 hour apart so that the workers do not come into contact with each other. Only 20 workers will be transported in 1 bus. The workers have expressed happiness as they have started their work in the industries. Migrant laborers and homeless have been worst affected because of the ongoing COVID-19 lockdown, and to ensure that migrant laborers and the homeless earn their living, Nagpur Municipal Corporation has taken a unique initiative. The authorities are imparting skill-based training where stitching is being taught to women while the men learn technical works including making solar pumps. Now, the Karnataka government has begun the convalescent plasma therapy clinical trials. This is to treat COVID-19 patients in the state. The trials were initiated by the Medical Education Minister, Dr. Kesh Sudhakar, and the Health Minister, Sri Ramulu, at the Victoria Hospital in the state. As per the recent data of the Union Health Ministry, the state has registered 474 total cases. Small business and IT sector in Karnataka is relieved that the government has relaxed the lockdown in their favor, which will help them to resume their business activities. This had come to a halt because of the lockdown. The government hopes that the ease in the lockdown norms will take place and stationery shops, bakeries, construction activity, they will resume in the state. However, the lockdown has strictly been implemented till the 3rd of May across the state in containment zones.
Karnataka government has partially relaxed the lockdown norms in the state. Besides the functioning of essential services which were on from the beginning of the lockdown, the government has added 17 more services to function without any conditions. The government intends to kickstart the microeconomy in the state by allowing these small businesses to start their work. The government has allowed construction workers to resume work at the construction sites. Besides, the small-time businessmen like plumbers, the carpenters, electricians, and the shop selling fans are allowed to function without any condition. Now, small-time businessmen like this coconut seller is happy that they will be able to resume their work now without any conditions. Although the government has relaxed norms for the ITBT companies also, but the ITBT companies will take some time to reopen and function 24/7. Besides this, the government also advises that these conditions will not be applied in the containment zone in any part of the state. The government still advises that people stay home and maintain social distance so that coronavirus spread can be controlled. Aisha Khanam, DD India, Bangalore.
In Arunachal Pradesh, in the midst of the countrywide lockdown, the role of doctors, health and food supply chain workers and the police personnel are readily visible due to the crucial role that they are playing. There are several other workers who are also playing an important role, but their contribution is going unnoticed at many times. The milkmen, for instance, they are continuously working to provide milk to the people in this hour of need. Let's take a look at this report.
In hilly state like Arunachal Pradesh, availability of fresh milk is very limited. Therefore, supply of fresh milk has become an important service in day-to-day life of the people in the state. State-owned Cattle Farm Breeding Center, CFBC, is one of the core supplier of milk to various parts of capital Itanagar. The dairy farm supplies around 300 liters of milk every day to the masses.
This is scientifically a help protein calorie malnutrition को एक PCM, this is a kind of hunger management. एक जनता का एक जैसा कि एक human kind में जो hunger management इसको protein requirement, calorie requirement management के लिए milk is the best source of a complete diet. इसको काफी emphasis देना चाहिए.
People residing in the area around the farm purchase milk from the farm itself with no mask, no milk restrictions.
इस पीरियड में लॉकडाउन पीरियड में हमने ये कोशिश किया कि फार्म पे जो दूध निकलता है उस दूध निकलने इस तक को केवल हम आने दिए इनको हम प्रॉपर्ली हैंड सैनिटाइजर दे रहे हैं प्रॉपर्ली हम इनको मास्क दे रहे हैं इसके बाद में जो मिल्क दूध है जिसमें नो मास्क नो मिल्क जिनको मास्क नहीं करने का उनको दूध नहीं देंगे इसके बाद में सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन किया है तो अल्टरनेटिव यहाँ में आके 1 मिनट 1 लीटर दे भी हमने ये किया है.
The farm has also made a milk van available to facilitate easy transportation of the milk and also to make sure their consumers do not suffer in these difficult hours. Sanjay Pratap Singh, DD News, Itanagar.
And the Union Civil Aviation Minister has taken to Twitter to applaud the efforts of the civil aviation sector and infrastructure during the lockdown. He said our robust civil aviation infrastructure is working round the clock to ensure timely transport of life-saving medical supplies to regions where they are needed. Lifeline Udan has till now transported 649 tons of supplies on 368 flights across 363,819 kilometers. In Jammu and Kashmir, at least 2 terrorists and one of their associates were gunned down in an encounter in Pulwama district. A joint team of police and the Army's 55 Rashtriya Rifles launched the cordon and search operation in Goripora area of Avantipora this morning. As the joint team of forces approached the suspected spot, the hiding terrorists there fired upon them, triggering an encounter. So during this gunfight, 2 terrorists and associate of the terrorists were killed. The identity of the slain terrorists is being ascertained. Sanjay Kothari was today sworn in as the Central Vigilance Commissioner. President Ramnath Kovind administered the oath of office to the new CVC at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi were present on the occasion. Social distancing was followed at the oath ceremony. The worldwide death toll from the coronavirus pandemic has crossed 1.97 lakhs. Nearly 2/3 of the fatalities are in Europe. The total of 1.97 lakh people have died and over 28 lakh people have been infected by the virus, which had emerged in China in December last year. The country with the most number of deaths is the United States with 51,017, followed by Italy with 25,969, Spain with 22,524, France with 22,245, and Britain with 19,506. The death toll due to the raging coronavirus pandemic in the U.S. crossed the 51,000 mark. According to the Johns Hopkins University, 51,017 people have lost their lives across the U.S., while 8,90,524 have been infected. Many states, including Georgia, Oklahoma, and Alaska, began loosening the lockdown orders on Friday on their businesses, despite the warnings from the health experts that the gradual steps towards normalcy might be happening too soon. France, meanwhile, has registered a total of 22,245 deaths so far due to COVID-19. 159,495 people have been infected by the virus across France. And this year's French Open is to be postponed a week further to September 27, from September 27 to October 11. This is what reports have suggested. The competition at the Roland Garros was originally supposed to take place on May 24 to June 7. It was postponed due to the measures in place in France, the lockdown, and that was put in place, of course, to contain the coronavirus. It's one of the first tennis events to be rescheduled, with the French Tennis Federation moving the tournament to September 20 and then now to October 4. In Italy, the deaths from the coronavirus pandemic have climbed to 420 on Friday, the smallest daily tally since March 19. But the country continues to witness an increase in the number of new infections, which rose to 3,021 from 2,646 on Thursday. The total fatalities since the outbreak came to light on February 21 now stands at 25,969, which is the second highest in the world after the United States. The number of confirmed cases was 1.92 lakh, the third highest global tally behind those of the United States and Spain. Green activists placed rows of boots and shoes in Zurich in the square there to take the place of protesters who normally come out in person on Fridays and demand action on climate change. So the organizers said that they wanted to make their point while respecting curbs on public gatherings imposed to contain the novel coronavirus, which has killed more than 1,300 people in Switzerland. Last year was the hottest year on record in Europe, according to a study released by the EU's Copernicus Climate Change Service. Britain's coronavirus fundraising hero, Captain Tom Moore, has got 2 Guinness Book World Record titles to add to his accolades, just days shy of his 100th birthday. The World War II veteran took the record for the most money raised by an individual through a charity walk. He had collected more than $35.2 million for the National Health Service by completing laps in his garden. He was also recognized as the oldest person to reach the #1 in Britain's main music charts through his appearance with singer Michael Ball on the cover of You'll Never Walk Alone, another fundraiser for the health service. Moore turns 100 on April 30 and said that he felt honored to receive the awards. Amid unprecedented restrictions due to the coronavirus crisis, Saudi Arabia's Grand Mosque in Mecca held night prayers without the usual hundreds of thousands of worshippers for the first night of Ramadan on Friday. During Ramadan, Muslims the world over join their families to break the fast at sunset and go to mosques to pray. But the pandemic has changed priorities, with curbs on large gatherings for prayers and public iftars or meals to break the fast. In a rare occurrence in Islam's 1,400-year history, Mecca's Grand Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque in Medina, the two holiest locations, remain closed for the public during the fasting period. Only the Imam and the security Cleaning and maintenance staff were allowed to pray inside. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia has reported 15,102 cases of COVID-19 and 127 deaths due to the coronavirus. That's all we have in this bulletin. Thank you for being with us. Namaskar.